What up? It's Matt. Welcome back to Taco Potato Mustang. I had a moment yesterday where I was driving the Fox and a fox ran in front of my car. Not like I didn't run over the fox, but I was probably like, I don't know, 20 or 30 feet at least away from it. But it made me regret that I do not have a dash cam in the Fox Mustang, because that would have been a really cool photo. A fox taken from a fox body. So I've actually been thinking, I have a, see if I can find it. I started to work on a video last year at some point on this dash cam setup that I was going to use for the Dude Stang. But the thing that I do not like about it is that, well, I don't know if I can blame the camera, but on the Dude Stang, if you have something plugged into the power outlet, like the cigarette, what used to be the cigarette lighter thing, it is still on even when the car is off. So the way that this battery or this camera functions is by being plugged into the power source. It doesn't really run on a battery, or at least not for very long, if it's not plugged into the power source. So I had it plugged in, I had it all set up, and sometimes the camera would just be on recording like nothing in the garage. And but I think that with the Fox, where when you take the when you put something in or out of the cigarette lighter power outlet thing, if it's still plugged in when you turn the car off, it doesn't seem like it's still powered. So I was thinking that maybe I'll try and use this dash cam in the Fox, and then next time that a fox runs in front of the Fox, I can get some cool video and like a cool photo or something. I don't know. Anyways, trying to think of a couple other things I was going to share. Okay, so I've posted about this on some of the Mustang forums, but I'm kind of having a dilemma about what to do with the Dude Stang, the Coyote Mustang. I've been pretty happy with the car since I bought it. I mean, it's fun. It's 420 horsepower, which I feel like it's still a good amount of power, even though you can buy cars with 700-800 horsepower these days. But I've kind of gotten to the point where I thought maybe I wanted to do a little bit more power, but it seems like with the Coyote Mustangs, you can either put like a few $1,000s into bolt-on parts and a tune, which doesn't seem like it gives you a lot for the money, or you can spend even more money to get a supercharger. And I would love to have a supercharger. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but it seems like for the most part, it's like you pay, unless you know how to do it yourself. I feel like I could attempt it, but generally something like a supercharger and the tuning that would come with it, I feel like you might want to trust to a professional shop. So I called around for a couple of quotes just to get a sense of what it would cost to supercharge the car. And it seems like the general approach is they want to do like a TVS blower, like a Roush, or or if you want to do a centrifugal, you have to do some of the shops like to recommend the Pro Charger, or the Whipple, which is also another kind of similar to the TVS or the Roush, whatever you want to call it. And those setups will get you somewhere around, my clothes are dry. Those setups will get you somewhere in the range of like 650 to 700 horsepower. I don't know how that would work with the internals on this car, because I guess it's like a Gen 1 Coyote engine, but I personally don't need 650 to 700 horsepower. I mean, I think that would be fun sometimes, but I also think that I would either A, get arrested, or B, fly into orbit, or off a cliff or whatever, because I think that's a lot of power. And also, I think one of the things that I love about, and I've mentioned this before in some of my videos, one of the things I love about driving the Fox is that it has pretty good torque. considering it's 33 years old. It doesn't have a ton of power. I mean, I'd say it probably has like 235 horsepower, but you can drive this car hard and like have a really fun time driving it and never go above 70 miles an hour. Can't really do that in this car. I feel like because you get to 70 miles an hour so much more quickly. And I think that having a supercharger would maybe like make that problem worse. Like it might be fun to drive on the highway and do some like crazy, occasional highway pulls, maybe take it to the drag strip, whatever. But I don't know how much sense it makes to spend 10 grand, 10 to 11 grand is what the shops want for the superchargers, like the Pro Charger, the Whipple, or the Roush TVS, whatever you want to call it, and the dyno tuning and all, and everything that comes with it. And in my head, I'm still thinking of like, back in 2005, when in my mind back then my mind was like, oh, you can get a supercharger for Corvette or Camaro or whatever for like $6,000 installed. I don't even know if that was actually true, but I definitely convinced myself of that. So then when I got the quotes for $10,000 to $11,000, I was like, holy shit, it's a lot of money. But it's also, if I were to get a newer Mustang, I'm only gonna get maybe like another 30 to 50 horsepower. I might get some there's some other perks too, but and then I'm gonna end up paying between $40,000 and $50,000. Whereas I like this car. I've upgraded the suspension. It's I've got a lot of history with it. It's fun. I like to keep it, especially now that I got the scratches on the trunk lid fixed, which were driving me crazy. One solution one idea that has been proposed to me is doing like an E85, like an ethanol 85 conversion with new injectors and a tune. I guess you can make pretty good power with that. I don't know enough about E85 to say whether I feel comfortable doing that, and my overthinking it dramatic thought process is, oh, well, I have to like make sure I switch the tune anytime I put in regular gas or whatever. I'd have to do more research to see if that's something that seems to make sense. But from the little that I have read, it does seem like you can get some improvements in power without spending like tons of money. And then it seems like the things that were kind of the quintessential mods on certain cars when I first got into modding back when I had a Trans Am, like bolt-ons, gears, like all that kind of stuff. It doesn't seem like that path is always the right way forward on the newer cars. Like to get any gains out of any bolt-on, you have to tune the car. And doing something like long tube headers and a full exhaust, I feel like you're not getting that done unless you can do it in your garage. I feel like you're not getting that done for probably less than $1,600, and I don't know what kind of gains you can expect with long tube headers and an exhaust. Plus then it's going to be like crazy loud, which I'm sure some of you will say, okay, old man, loud is good. I mean, it is good sometimes, but I want the car I want it to sound good. I'd like to make a little bit more power. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do that. Another option that someone suggested was the Edelbrock E-Force supercharger, which I actually was intrigued by a few years ago when I was first looking at possibilities, because it looks kind of low key aside from the logo, and it's apparently if you get there's a company called Brenspeed. Apparently if you get their kit, I think it's like they call it a stage 1 kit, you get the blower and then they give you a prepackaged tune that comes with the kit. And I watched a video on the installation. It seems like I could probably do it with the help of at least one other person at some point. And then it seems like you would get an additional like I want to say it came out to around like 85 wheel horsepower and a bit more torque. But the guy who recommended it said he thinks that the car feels really fast, and it's one of those things you can do without worrying too much about, like, you're putting too much stress on the engine and making like crazy amounts of power. So that's something I've considered. I think the kit with a tuner and everything is like a little over $6,000. But it's hard for me to like quantify the $6,000 for like 80 horsepower. And then also knowing that $6,000 could get me a shitload of parts and other stuff, all sorts of stuff for the Fox. And, right now I'm trying to decide if I want to do something like get a blower, take the time to install and add the tune and all the stuff to the Mustang. And while I'm doing that, because knowing me, it would probably take like a month. I mean, they say the installation should take like a weekend, but who knows how long I would take to do it. But the Mustang would obviously be out of commission for a few days, at least. And then I could just drive the Fox around if I needed, like if the Subaru is not around or whatever. But I feel like this is another example of me procrastinating on doing some of the stuff that I should be doing on the Fox, like getting it up on ramps or jack stands and taking a look at the transmission, the oil pan, all that kind of stuff, to see if I can, clean it up and see where the leaks are actually coming from, and see if I actually do want to try drop the transmission, replace the rear main seal, maybe replace the clutch, that kind of stuff. And it's, I don't know, these are things I've been thinking about the last probably like week or so. And I go back and forth between the two, because I've always wanted, to have more power on the Coyote, on the Mustang, but I also don't know if I really need it. And again, the money could go a lot further into the Fox. And at the same time, that money, I want to make sure that money doesn't go to buying parts that I'm not actually going to install right away. I still have a bunch of stuff just sitting on my shelf here. So, so that's my rambling, ranting, and whatever for the evening. I'm going to keep doing some research. If you have any thoughts or suggestions or ideas, feel free to put them in the comments. I'm trying to be flexible, but also trying to make sure I kind of have a path forward for both the cars. I still want to do the Blowfish racing bracket on the Coyote, on the Mustang, and see how I like that. Maybe pair that with the Steeda shifter that I still have, so I can get it to fit right. I still need to do the cooling system on the Fox. I still need to clean up the bottom. I got a lot of stuff I got to do, a lot of stuff I want to do, and not enough time. So yeah, but I'm hoping that with the warmer weather this week, I'll get a little bit of time to put the Fox up at least on the ramps and the and jack stands, and try and do a few things. We'll see. I don't know. Now I feel like I'm just kind of talking in circles. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel and like my video, please hit subscribe, and keep an eye out for more sandwich reviews, fast food reviews, car reviews, Fox body project updates, and whatever else. Anyways, hope you're staying healthy. Hope you're staying safe. Peace out.